A massive monster of a man with ridiculous punching power. Could he catch the heavyweight boxing champion of the world and knock him out unconscious?
Fight fans, welcome back.
We're gonna find out who is the baddest motherfucker on the planet.
New, unexpected stars are emerging, revenge missions are ongoing, and old flames are dwindling.
Like, yeah, bro, Floyd's fighting on Saturday. Nobody knew.
Though, as the boxing landscape undergoes its evolution process, boxing's big men now sit on standby.
He spun Alistar's head behind while he's looking at the back of his feet.
As 129,000 units of punching power look set to make its long-awaited pugilistic arrival.
The smaller the gloves, the more trouble he's in.
Here we look at Francis Ngannou versus the entire heavyweight division.
Because heavyweights wear 10-ounce gloves. You put Francis in 4-ounce gloves, we have seen what he can do to people.
Welcome to a Motivedia presentation.
To his credit, he's like, hey, Conor McGregor did it. Why can't I do it?
Social media. What do you say to the people who say that you don't have a chance against Tyson Fury?
Well, they don't know me.
Many expected 2023 to be the year Ngannou would finally step in against John Jones.
Said if he loses, he'd probably deserve a rematch, but man, the idea of a John Jones fight seems awfully exciting right now. John came out, tweeted, said, show me the money.
Do you have a response to Francis Ngannou referring to himself?
Francis is a big old
However, failing to agree terms with the UFC, the Predator now stands as a free agent with a variety of options at his fingertips.
Joshua against Ngannou, huge fight. Dillon White against Ngannou, huge fight. Chisora, there's a lot of big fights for him. I think it's all of those fights are huge.
Ngannou's brute strength and star power will draw eyes, no matter what. But the allure of a big boxing payday looks more enticing than ever.
Wow, I want to see this, because last time we saw it against Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, Conor gave a good account of himself.
Could he rattle Joshua? Could he catch Fury? And could he stand and trade with Wilder?
I love boxing. I've been dreaming for boxing for years, since when I was a kid.
Boxing is so different to MMA, it really, really is. And Francis Ngannou does not stand a single hope in a boxing ring whatsoever.
As the opponents fell, up rose the inevitable questions and comparisons.
Who hits harder, you or Deontay Wilder?
Me.
Not many could even enter the equation. However, there was one man in particular who it was hard to argue against.
Mark my motherfucking words. If Francis Ngannou decides to jump ship and go heavyweight boxing,
Careful.
He will nuke some fools.
Not Wilder.
Recently in the gym with Deontay Wilder. I know that you've still got a little bit of an itch to do a bit of boxing.
In November 2017, Wilder blasted through Stavern like a hot knife through butter.
Here in round one, he is Ragnar-rocking Stavern! That is a statement.
A month later, Ngannou smoked Wolverine with a shot from hell. The finishes were different, but the shockwave and intimidation factor was identical.
We said there could be exchanges. Both men carry the big power here.
Wilder versus Ngannou. They've apparently agreed to box. Well, to fight. Well, to box and to fight.
Despite having the same wingspan, Wilder is 3 inches taller, and his boxing skills could keep him out of trouble until he chose to detonate.
Look, Wilder versus Ngannou would be crazy.
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
Francis would have to take risks, bring the fight to mid-range, and offer some resistance.
A guy like Ngannou, can he knock out someone like a Wilder?
Big enough to knock anybody out. But I just don't think he does, because I think Wilder knocks him out first.
At least 3 fights this year. 2 fights for sure.
Okay.
But 3 I'm trying to get in an extra one.
And if there are 2 fights against Deontay, ideally for you, if you fight Deontay twice, would it be 2 boxing matches?
The first few rounds would be exciting, But the longer it went, the more the predator could become the prey.
Ngannou is a real discussion. It's a real discussion. We trying to do a 2-fight deal. One maybe here and the other one in Africa.
If he does fight like a top-tier boxer, how do you think he does?
Oh, he's got a shot. I know better than most. He hits very, very hard.
Yeah, I think that AJ's priority is to become world heavyweight champion again. I've spoken to Francis Ngannou about it. You know, AJ will return April 1st. We could make that fight in the summer.
I don't want to go back. Give it to me, I'm on. You should just know.
Anthony Joshua's revenge mission is back underway.
I'm not really there to like go out for coffees and talk about bullshit. I'm there to f***ing work and put my head down and get ready for a fight.
And whilst the Franklin fight at the O2 struggles to capture the imagination of the boxing world, the potential remains for Joshua to outshine the rest of the division in terms of pulling power.
Yeah, don't let go. Enjoy the ride in your own metro.
Which one do you think on the money level Ngannou's going to go with? He's going to go with AJ, right?
If marketed properly, AJ Ngannou is probably the biggest crossover fight available, simply because Joshua's vulnerabilities and cracks in his armor offer a tiny glimmer of the unknown.
Saudi Arabia would pay an insane amount of money. Anywhere would, right? It's a huge fight, and that is a fight that Francis Ngannou could potentially win.
Ngannou fights wild, so he would be difficult to train for. But once again, Joshua would enter as the slightly bigger man, and his fundamentals would make it extremely tricky for Ngannou to land anything meaningful. It's likely that Francis would be chasing shadows, but one stray flurry right on the button, and there could be fireworks.
You know, it's the jeopardy of not knowing. If Francis Ngannou stands like a man mountain against AJ and they're trading punches and someone catches and connects, it's all over either way.
I wonder if it's real.
Joshua versus Ngannou or something. You can punch out this. Someone's going to sleep.
Jesus Christ.
Hold tight, don't let go.
Yeah. To his credit, he's like, hey, Conor McGregor did it. Why can't I do it?
You see when Conor and Floyd fought?
Yeah.
There was that little thing of, suppose Conor lands. If Conor lands that shot that's knocking out all those guys.
Floyd knows that if I can get him into, say, round 6, round 7, round 8, drag him out there to the deep, let's see if he can swim. Let's see if they swim over there in Ireland.
One thing we do know, the fans can't fight for you.
I want everyone in this arena to scream at the top of your lungs, Floyd Mayweather. 1, 2, 3.
Round 9, the head that bounces off the canvas will be one Conor McGregor. But he'll get up because he's tough. And in the 9th round, the referee will step in. He will stop this fight.
The referee's going to have a close look because this could get dangerous.
Floyd Mayweather seals his place.
We saw this movie before.
Right.
We know how the story ends.
There is no one I've met in my entire fucking life who gives off the fucking scary vibe more than Francis Ngannou. I you not, like Tyson Fury is not even comparable.
Francis Ngannou going into boxing, that's what I'm picturing. I'm picturing a one-off. I'm picturing a Conor versus Floyd. It's a one-time deal. Tyson Fury has shown an interest in doing this. He has specifically spoke of Francis Ngannou before.
I want to bring in Francis Ngannou. Francis, we're coming at ESPN.
When Fury knocked out White last year, Ngannou stepped through the ropes to go face-to-face.
Well, this is going to be one very special fight, like never before seen in the history of our sport. Imagine me and him in a cage, 4-ounce gloves on the Queensberry rules.
Why give Francis Ngannou, who literally has a puncher's chance, only more of a puncher's chance?
This guy is a gypsy king.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? He'd just do hand wraps if you let him.
He said he'd do it. It's unanimous on the cards. Tyson.
At one point, the Brit looked like the least dangerous option of the heavyweight elites.
Fury got up after that second knockdown. It's beyond me.
But now, with his newfound ability to mix slick defense with front-footed aggression, Fury probably represents the division's toughest challenge for Francis.
A near, if not an impossible task for Francis Ngannou to box a guy who cannot be hit, it seems, by the best heavyweight boxers in the world.
100%.
Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room.
The stage would be huge, the build-up would be electric, but the fight itself would likely be a foregone conclusion.
It won't be easy at all. Basically, when you see the belt holder, which is like Tyson Fury, you know nothing out there is going to be easy. They are legit.
A massive monster of a man with ridiculous punching power. Could he catch the heavyweight boxing champion of the world and knock him out unconscious?
Fury has 5 inches in height, a longer reach, and is worlds apart in terms of boxing IQ and movement.
One of the best boxers ever lived. Like, the chances are still pretty small that obviously Ngannou hits like an absolute truck, so he still has a puncher's chance.
With White and Chisora, 2 equally big hitters, struggling to have any success, it's hard to see Francis finding a way through the slips and slides of the Gypsy King.
Ngannou!
It's going to be huge. There's a reason why Marvel continues to make Spider-Man movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the people's imagination, they want superheroes.
Break it down. Never the one to play around. You got next and we got now. Heavy the head that wear the crown. I've been running through the town, even when running ain't allowed. With my 10 toes on the ground. Yeah, you know what's going down, going down. Hey, look in the mirror.
Chisora would also be the yardstick used for a Ngannou-Usyk clash.
Pressure him and sort of make it a hard night, a physical night, kind of like what Chisora did against him.
When the pair met back in 2020, the Ukrainian managed to work effectively on the back foot to cruise to a points victory.
This is what I do.
Doesn't allow him to do that when Usyk has distance. It's mission impossible for Chisora.
Ngannou would have to copy this game plan, steamrolling his way in, rather than trying to pick shots and beat Usyk to the punch like Joshua.
He wanted victory more than anything. We're all extremely proud of him for giving us a great fight tonight against one of the best that's ever laced up a pair of gloves.
Usyk would be the least risk, the least reward, and probably the least likely crossover showdown for Ngannou, as the Ukrainian pursues legacy over currency.
I'm gonna write you off. Nice try, boy. You can't repeat this. And I'll do you as well, Gappy T.
Chisora has kept himself in the limelight, and despite 4 losses in his last 5 outings, he remains a big name in boxing.
This is what I
He also brings drama, excitement, and dollar signs.
If he beats me, you write me a check of £1. If I beat him, you give me your purse against Tony and your TV rights.
This is what I do.
Right? What if they set him up with some boxer who's an elite boxer, not Tyson Fury,
and he goes and wins a big fight?
And what if he knocks out Dillon White?
I'm on a Zoom with Dillon White and Francis Ngannou, basically going at it. Right? I'll knock you out. I'll do it. You know, he's all hype. Blah, blah, blah.
First of all, Francis is getting all kinds of offers. Dillon White made an offer.
Well, it wasn't really a press conference. It was just a Zoom. It was, and then I thought, Then I got a legal letter from the UFC to say, like, you can't be putting this out. They were 1,000,000% right.
The Juggernaut and Dillon White are 2 names who are each just one big eye-catching win away from title contention.
There was a picture that went out which sort of broke the internet in a boxing match. It was you and Francis Ngannou. What can you tell me about that spar?
Comments in the build-up from Carlos Takam. It was actually an interview I did with him on Zoom. He said that he'd spoken to Ngannou, they're good friends apparently, and he told him, you're not a dangerous guy. He said, you're a nice guy, but you're not dangerous.
He's always sweet, he's calm, he's fat, you know. He told me, like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he's not really a dangerous guy.
Come on! Hey!
And I'm glad I didn't get hit with any of those shots cleanly, because those were whistling past me.
But no, it was great sparring. I like Ngannou. Maybe that could be a future fight, maybe down the line.
A win against Francis wouldn't exactly push them to the front of the queue, but it would provide the hype and some bargaining power at the big table.
All those opportunities are possible. However, only Francis knows what he's going to do at this point.
Francis' Octagon legacy looks to take a short-term hit, but his bank balance may be about to skyrocket.
I think there is going to be a bidding war between Eddie Hearn versus Frank Warren to be the first and probably only guy to get Francis Ngannou into a boxing ring.
Wilder recently confirmed that talks are happening. So whilst Francis keeps one eye on the return of John Jones, he looks set to wrap him up, wind up that big right hand, and mix it against some of the sweet science's biggest and best.
Do you think he could make it in boxing to any sort of level if he crossed over?
Yeah, he'd be knocking guys out.
Red Bull doesn't give you wings. You know what does? Liking this video and subscribing so you can be uplifted by the next Motivedia presentation.